Alright, boys and girls, I had a real bad issue in my GMC lately. I've got the 8.1 496 and quite a few modifications if you've been following the channel. Recently put a new coat of paint on this old girl. So, if you guys watched the header install video, I get tired of the headers leaking. Couldn't get them to seal no matter what I did, the way I drive. So I pulled them off, I put a stock manifold back on. All was fine. Last few days when we were driving it, the engine light was flashing in the dash. The truck would barely pull itself up the road. The cold starts was horrible. Basically as soon as I backed out of the driveway, it just wanted to quit. So I figured the last time I had this issue with my 8.1, it was a clogged fuel injector. So what I've experienced with all these LS Chev engines is usually when they clog an injector, they clog the very back one on this side. So it's not really that difficult to pull the fuel system apart and clean the injectors, but I wanted a little bit of insurance onto it, so I decided to pull all the plugs on this side just to see if we had one that was acting up any more than the rest. They all looked like they were burning good. I got the Dragonfire high performance wires in this thing, so there's no spark issue between the coil and the plug. I've got probably 20 spare sets of coils in the back of the building there, so I threw a whole different set onto it. I tried that, still didn't get anywhere. Truck was still misfiring really badly. So, you start scratching your head a little bit. I mean, it is a Chev. There's only a couple things that can actually go wrong there. So the funny thing was, it would work full throttle even when it was missing and skipping and banging. If you kicked it in the guts, it would go. But if you just tried to drive along like a sensible person, it took about a half hour for it to actually come out of its fit. But it would come out of its fit and you could drive it once it come around. But the misfiring, especially when the engine's cold, is very bad for it. So anyway, I got the day off. Yesterday was Canada Day. I jumped in the truck this morning, went for a drive down the road. This was before I pulled the injectors and the plugs out. So we did that. I found no dirt. The injectors ohm tested fine, so that was great. So after about, I don't know, an hour of messing around this morning, I put it all back together again, took it out for a drive, did the exact same thing once again. Like, I didn't even get a half a kilometer out of the driveway and I was pulling over. Very bad for the engine when they're misfiring like that and not pulling. So anyway, I came back home, or actually rather, I pulled over on the side of the road and I crawled underneath the truck and I unplugged Mr. Oxygen sensor. I'm going to tell you guys a little story, if you're still listening and watching, about my experience with these V8 LS 4Tech motors, whatever you want to call them, 4853 6-liter 8.1. I've now seen 5 of these oxygen sensors fail, and they fail in a sense that when you scan it with live data, it's saying that the sensor is reading lean. Meanwhile, you stick your face by the exhaust, or even if you're just sitting in the truck, the gas fumes will just about drive you out of it. So I unplugged this bad boy, jumped in the truck. As soon as I pulled away, it was working A1, never missed a beat. Now I've got a wideband, so obviously my fueling wasn't exactly happy. It was a bit rich, but it wasn't like pig rich like it was when this was plugged in. And the live data was telling you that the sensor's reading lean, bank 1, sensor 1. So what'll actually happen when these sensors fail in this manner is these will dump so much fuel on whichever bank, be it 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. It's usually, every time I found, it's always bank 1 that does this. But I've actually seen a guy ruin a 6-liter motor because when the oxygen sensor failed, it was dumping so much fuel that the motor was virtually hydrolocking. Same as if you put water into it. It was dumping that much fuel out of the injectors. So the quick easy fix is just to unplug it, but you're going to burn a little bit more fuel without these working properly. So what I've done, I actually had one that I ordered from Rock Auto, luckily, and I just switched it here a little bit ago. Truck seems to be working great again, but I can't stress enough. I mean, I was just about ready to do a fuel pressure test, and I said, no, you know what, I messed around with the exhaust in this truck quite a bit, and just like I said, past experience, when this truck was originally a 6-liter, I had the same problem with the other wire harness, the other computer, the whole other setup, but essentially did the same thing. And I was going to leave this plugged in to show you guys, but you can just take my word for it. If I put this back in the truck, plug it in, standing here, the gas fumes will burn the eyes right out of my head, and the truck runs like a bag of garbage. When you go to pull down the road, you'll get random multiple misfire, lean, whichever bank it's acting up on. You may get an individual cylinder misfire, but it causes major headaches. And I mean, I didn't actually go buy plugs and wires and all that stuff, but a fella can waste an awful lot of money, and it just end up being something simple and stupid like this. But most generally with these Chev motors, if your fuel pump's good, your oxygen sensors are good, the coils hardly ever fail. So then it just comes down to if you have good plugs and good wires. Those 5 things are pretty much your major misfire key points in these Chev trucks. And trust me guys, I've worked on a lot of them. I've swapped a lot of them, as you know. I've got this square body over here. If you look back on the channel, I swapped a newer style shorty like mine from a 5.3 to a 6-liter. I've had a few personal trucks that I've pulled 4.8s out, put 6 liters into. 6-liter is kind of my favorite engine for a small truck application or a car application, but for a big truck with big tires, I really like this 8.1. It's one of them things, everyone complains they're hard on gas, but you know what, I'd rather dump gas in the thing and get to drive it than have something that's all hopped up and completely, every time you take it out and come on to it, you break stuff. As you guys can see, this truck's been holding up to the test of time pretty good. I've got nothing bad to say about the 8.1s. I absolutely love it. Check out my new decals here that me and the old lady made. Need new handle valance, but all in all, don't let the oxygen sensor fool you. If you've got a bad misfire in your truck and you know your plugs and wires are good, just crawl underneath there and unplug your front bank 1, see if it goes away. If not, try your bank 2, and that'll tell you pretty much right away. Thanks for watching, guys.